It is quite appropriate that Audrey Trachtman is with us at the very beginning of the school year. She is the new president of AMIT, and I remind you that in its almost 95 years, AMIT has had a transformative impact on the Israeli educational landscape that extends far beyond its schools and students. It was founded in 1925. They are educating 35,000 children in 107 schools, youth villages, surrogate family residences, and other programs in 33 cities in Israel. Till this point, they have over 250,000 graduates who are living in Israel, having graduated from AMIT schools. The new president of the AMIT organization is Audrey Trachtman. I say good morning and welcome to JM in the AM.
Good morning, Nachum. Thanks so much for having me.
I was telling you off the air that I am a major fan of your organization. And there are a couple of reasons. First of all, there's some people with your organization that we absolutely love and love having on the air. But in addition to that, I find it astounding that an organization dedicated to Jewish and secular education can thrive the way you do in 2019. And I say it like that because, frankly, education is not always the easiest cause to raise money for and to support. And yet the AMIT network has done it in an amazing and incredible fashion. So fitting that we have you here at the beginning of the school year, and congratulations on your new position as president of AMIT.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate what you say about us because I think that that is clearly one of the hallmarks of our network. We have the majority are religious schools, but we also have a number of secular schools.
Right.
We even have a Haredi school, as a matter of fact.
I remember that, right.
And I think that what's amazing about our organization is the fact that we really come together as a group of different people from different denominations, and yet everybody understands that Jewish ethics and tradition is at the core of who we are. And at the same time, we value democracy, we value transparency, and we value all the good secular values, I would say. And people really speak to each other with respect, and it's always an open dialogue at AMIT. And it's something that we care so much about, all the students that we have, and so that really helps us, I think, all get to very good solutions.
What's remarkable is that when you're in Israel, and you are somebody who's, I don't know, related to somebody who's in one of the schools or, is familiar with the schools, all right, you see it up close and personal. You have an appreciation for what goes on a daily basis. But as I said earlier, education, especially trying to support education thousands of miles away, is not always the most attractive cause. And yet you have a core group of people we know. We've been at their dinners, we've been at their events, and we traveled with them in Israel. You have a core group of people from this area. I'm talking about New York and New Jersey. I'm sure other areas of the U.S. as well, who are so dedicated to this, who treat the education of the children of Israel the same way they would treat any one of the, really cool causes that people are associated with in Israel.
Well, that's certainly true. And I think, as you mentioned, we have a strong heritage. Yeah. I think the fact that our heritage is as a women's organization is certainly, one of the factors that leads to this tremendous support. And we had built a chapter structure. There's one thing that I don't know if you know about us historically. We were originally part of, I think it was, I may be wrong here about Religious Zionists of America, but one of those organizations. Right. And what happened was the women were the ones that were raising all the money, and the men were the ones that were allocating the funds. So Bessie Gosfeld and some of her, fellow members said, okay, this isn't for us. And that's actually how AMIT women were formed. So I do believe that that's part of the heritage. And in addition, I think people like ourselves, what do we want to support? We want to support Jewish education, and we want to support Israel. And AMIT does it so beautifully, so thoughtfully, so seamlessly.
Right, but again, you get my point. And
of course.
I know I keep saying this, but it just, and everyone knows it from this area. Schools are not always the easiest cause to raise money for.
That's true.
And you have dedicated people who, number one, come through with the funds and come through with the resources. But secondly, when they go to Israel, and I saw this up close and personal, the experience they have walking into these schools, they literally feel as if they helped build it, which they did. But you get my point. And you, I'm sure you've been on those tours. You take amazing pride in just watching a regular school day happen.
Right. Well, don't forget, 70% of our kids are from what's called in Israel the peripheria,
Right.
which is really the social and economic lower segment. So I think even jaded New Yorkers and even jaded LA people and Florida people all across our country recognize that there's something great about really helping close opportunity gaps and really creating opportunity for kids that might otherwise not have it.
And that's why the stats about how many students currently and how many graduates you have are so important. It's not just that they went through a school system. In many, many cases, as you just described, their lives were transformed and the lives of their families were transformed just by getting a good education.
Absolutely. You're 100% right. It looks like you're doing a better sales job than me. So maybe I can make you the next president.
We should go on the road. Now, how long have you been president?
I think it's 11 days and counting.
It was literally September 1st?
September 1. Uh-huh.
Who was your predecessor?
Debbie Moed.
Oh, Debbie did a great job. I remember we were with her in Israel, and she also took great pride in this whole system of schools and all the work that AMIT's doing to support it. So does a new president come in with a specific agenda, a project, a goal that you'd love to accomplish? Like, what goes through your mind as you take this job in the first few days?
Well, I've obviously been involved in the organization for quite a few years, but I would say that I have 3 goals, at least coming into it. They may change over time, but the first goal is that, especially given our heritage, I want to make sure that we continue to empower girls, that we continue to build, strong STEM programs, which are really in Israel, if you know the high-tech industry, the way to get, great jobs, and that's important for our students. So that's one thing that I feel very strongly about, making sure that they go to university. Obviously, that's important for all poor kids, but I think that with girls, it may be even that much more important in more traditional environments. The second thing is, I don't know how much you know about our innovative curriculum and all the things that we're doing with education. We're the 3rd largest network in Israel, the number 1 religious network, and although our stats are fantastic, we were ranked number 1 in terms of our results by the Ministry of Education. We still are trying to really change education and make it much more, less frontal, more 21st century, collaborative, critical thinking, effective speaking, communication. So we are setting up a new Gogia, what we call Gogia. That's what we call our system of education, our methodology. And we're setting up a new campus, a flagship campus with teacher training. And so I hope to get that off the ground. I hope to get a great endowment going, which would be fantastic. So we could really put more money into teacher training, help supporting the lower performing kids, as well as enrichment for some of our terrific kids. So all of that are things that we're trying to do, and that's where I am. In other words, it's sort of more and better, but
lofty
building.
goals. But there should be lofty goals at the beginning of administration for sure. And also, it's hard to believe sometimes that you can have lofty goals for an organization that's over 90 years old, but even an organization that's been around for that long can still, in many ways, as you just said, stay with the times, keep up with the times, and really improve in different areas. So.
Well, I think that we've really reinvented ourselves over the time, because if you look at, our origins were as more residential facilities for orphans, coming out of the Holocaust and from dysfunctional families, and probably a few thousand. And now, as you say, actually, now that it's a new school year, I can tell you it's 36,400 kids. So there's an additional 1,400 kids that have come into our schools just as of September. And so I think that, that's really one of the things that's really says something about us, how we do reinvent, and we're always attempting to reach more kids, more students, more communities, because we believe that our brand of education is so great that all kids can benefit from it.
Audrey Trachtman's here. She's visiting us. She's a new president of AMIT for the last 10 days. When's your next trip to Israel?
November.
And
I was there in July, actually, even though I wasn't officially the president. I was
transitioning,
yes,
getting ready for the for the new term, and a typical trip, you could get to quite a number of schools, right?
Well, as I described, the way that I really started to become very heavily invested in AMIT is after I had been working in international finance, and when I stopped, a friend of mine was actually the treasurer of AMIT, and she said, come with me, come on a finance trip. I really think that you would love AMIT. It would mesh with your values. And so I did that, but what I didn't anticipate was going to 12 schools in 5 days. And if you know anything about me being car sick, that wasn't the best. But it's still, even despite that, I just could not believe how broad our footprint was and how much great work we did.
How many will you get to in November, do you think? At least 12, or you're not sure yet?
I'm not sure yet. I guess we'll see. I'm definitely going to see all the new schools. This past year, we took over 2 schools, and actually, they're new schools in the Shomron. So I definitely want to see those 2 schools. Wow. And I'm sure that I will see a number that I haven't seen in a little while.
Easiest way for people to get information on meetchildren.org, right?
Absolutely. That is our website. And if you want to reach me, I am Audrey T. at amitchildren.org.
All right. If you want to congratulate Audrey on her new position, Audrey T. at amitchildren.org. She's the new president of AMIT, and we wish you the best of luck with your term. How long will it be? How long is this term?
It's 2 2-year terms. So assuming that I do an okay job or better, it will be 4 years.
Bezrat Hashem.
Exactly.
And you get to work with Andy Goldsmith.
I do, and he's fantastic.
He certainly is. He's amazing, and I hope you'll give him our best regards.
I certainly will, and I'm sure he's listening right now.
I hope so.
Shout out.
I know he likes good radio, so hopefully. Yeah. AMIT enables Israel's youth to realize their potential and strengthens Israeli society by educating and nurturing children from diverse backgrounds within a framework of academic excellence, Jewish values, and Zionist ideals. They're amazing at all of this. And those of you who want more information, go to amitchildren.org. Also, if you have any notion of getting more involved with AMIT, do what Audrey and others have done in the past, and that's go on one of their trips to Israel. They're always scheduling them, and it gives you an opportunity to walk into the schools and really see how their dollars are being spent. Audrey?
Nachum, actually, we have a mission that's being planned even as we speak. Yeah. It's in May. I think it's something like the 14th to the 19th, and I can guarantee you it will coincide with AMIT's 95th anniversary. Right. And so it is guaranteed to be absolutely fantastic.
All right, so check that out by going to the website. You could write to Audrey T. at amitchildren.org. She'll be more than happy to forward you information about the May trip, May of 2020, that AMIT's going to be doing to Israel. Mazal tov again, and Shana Tova to you.
You as well.
Thank you very much. Audrey Trachtman, brand new president of AMIT. Go to amitchildren.org for more information. More coming up. It's Mordechai Shapiro at JM in the AM.